Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Thursday, May 9th, 2024. Good morning and happy Jupiter's Day to you all. We have a waxing crescent moon. We are in Taurus season, the Celtic tree month of Willow, Beaver season, and Pluto retrograde. Our astrology for today, we have the sun in Taurus, fixed earth, representing practicality. The moon is in first quarter Gemini, mutable air, representing adaptability. Mercury is in Aries, cardinal fire, representing alertness. Venus is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing artistry. Mars is in Aries, cardinal fire, representing initiative. Jupiter is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing practicality. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, representing imagination. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing renovation. Neptune is in Pisces, mutable water, representing imagination. And Pluto is retrograding Aquarius, fixed air, which means we need to examine our intentions. And the Pluto retrograde mantra: reflect, heal, and evolve. For the waxing crescent moon, remember to plan, to brainstorm, and to create. And for the Gemini moon, remember to socialize, do network, do teach. Don't get caught up in manic distractions, get trapped in confined spaces, or get drawn into any kind of acrimony. So on this day of Jupiter, if your projects would benefit from consultation with others, make use of that Gemini moon to do so. Pick the brain of someone who has greater knowledge and experience to inform the next steps you take in your endeavors, and you will have greater success. For our tarot card for today, we have the Five of Swords. It represents deep analysis, questioning suppositions, exploration of ideas, getting a second opinion, and examining another perspective. This is another area where we can tie in that Gemini moon if we feel the need to kind of pick someone else's brain to see what they think about something. It's about looking within, but it's also about putting in that into context of the grander scheme of things. How are you responding to the things that are going on in that outside world? How is that all correlating? And is your perspective, do you have an accurate view of what's going on? Are you taking too narrow of a view? Are you actually having to deal with a very distorted view because you were so caught up in your emotions or in your inner thoughts that you got out of sync with the world around you? This is an opportunity to look within and sort through all of that if it is necessary, and just see where you actually are. This is about hitting a reset button and seeing what holds water and what doesn't, and then tossing what doesn't hold water and moving closer to the things that actually do make sense and the things that can be I don't want to say proven true exactly, but things that do hold up to scrutiny, things of that sort, so more solid ground. Then we have today's Celtic triad, which reads: three earthly losses which bring gain to the soul: loss of a friend, loss of health, and loss of riches. So again, this is another one of those triads. So stay with me here. Let's look at it a little closer because it does seem counterintuitive at first glance. But a lost friendship can lead to wisdom when it's understand why it was lost. When we look at that, perhaps the person that we lost their friendship, maybe they were not a particularly good influence in our life, or maybe we lost them because we were in error in some way. And if we had treated them better or handled a disagreement better, they could still be in our lives. And sorting through that, that can lead to a gain of wisdom. And sometimes perhaps a gain of the person back in our lives if appropriate. That isn't, of course, a guarantee, but at least it opens up a pathway to where that might happen. Then a loss of health that can teach us patience, endurance, and responsibility. And again, we gain wisdom. We gain wisdom through our difficulties. And then with the loss of riches, it requires us to learn how to mend and make do in any financial circumstances, and to re-examine what do we actually need versus what do we want. What is a bit more of a luxury, what's kind of a frivolous indulgence versus what is actually necessary, what do we really need to survive and thrive, and perhaps focusing a bit more on the essentials and not quite so much on our whims, which again, in the third place, it brings about greater wisdom, wisdom through difficulties. I think that's what a lot of these verses for the past, I would say about we've been at this a month where we've been focusing on perhaps these more serious things in the Celtic triads, haven't we? At least it feels that way. But it is about getting a little bit of perspective and seeing how even unpleasant things in lives can be greatly instructive and beneficial in the long run. Next up, our magical intention for today is empathy. For that, we have the color crimson. The plant is the birch tree, the animal is the otter, and the crystal is the red tourmaline. Now, a component of empathy is looking at people and life in general through a more humane lens, not just a legalistic one or a transactional one. It's about being able to put your heart in a similar position to theirs, and having a little bit of sympathy, having some fellow feeling, and not being as harsh as what you possibly could be, and perhaps valuing that human connection with others over making sure that someone pays for their mistakes. Well, people always pay for their mistakes one way or another. Sometimes we're not needing to add on another layer of punishment. Sometimes we're needing to say, yeah, this is a hard lesson, and you aren't alone in having to learn that. And not making it about yourself, but just saying, the other people have walked this same walk, and you will come through it, and you can be better through it. Looking at getting beyond the harshness of the lesson and seeing what can be gained long term from it. Then we have for our pagan practice today, tidy up the altar or the shrine that you have for the house spirit, if you have one, stuck up on your magical pantry. That picture I found on Pinterest, it greatly inspired me to do so. I mean, my fellow witches, am I right? This is the dream. We think about how we want our magical space to be with all of our various plants and herbs and everything. I mean, this is kind of the mood for many of us, I dare say. But today is also a good day to honor your ancestors, check on the progress of your garden, and give your pets a little treat. Then in our journal, in myth, we know that Thor's hammer was used to sanctify marriages, and I found a pretty cool rendition of Thor's hammer for us to be inspired by today. So how would you work the symbolism of that hammer and what it was used in the context of marriages into a present day hand fasting ceremony? That could be fun to think about, particularly if you tend to favor working with the Norse Germanic gods. This might come up for you at some point in the future, which is why we're talking and thinking about it now, just in case it ever does. But that's what I have for you guys today. Come back tomorrow for another edition of the Daily Forecast. Let me know what you thought of this one in the comments below, or send me an email at brigantiablackbird@protonmail.com. But that does it for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.